He was booed off stage at rap battles. Now he has sold over 220 million albums worldwide. Welcome to Story Studio 91. Marshall Mathers stood on stage at Detroit hip-hop club. The year was 1988. He was 16 years old. He was trying to rap battle. This was his chance to prove himself. That the crowd was hostile. Marshall was white. Hip-hop was dominated by black artists. The audience did not want to hear a white kid rap. They booed him. They threw things at him. They laughed at him. Someone yelled, "Get off the stage, white boy." Marshall froze. He forgot his lyrics. He stumbled over his words. The humiliation was unbearable. Marshall walked off stage defeated. He sat in his car and cried. He thought about quitting, about giving up on his dream, but something inside him refused. He loved hip-hop. He loved rap. He would not let anyone tell him he did not belong. That night of humiliation became the fuel that created Eminem, the greatest white rapper in history. Marshall was born in 1972 in St. Joseph, Missouri. His childhood was chaos. His father abandoned the family when Marshall was a baby. His mother, Debbie, was unstable. She moved constantly. Marshall attended multiple schools. He never had stability, never had friends. He was always the new kid, always the outsider. They lived in poverty, in trailer parks, in terrible neighborhoods. Marshall was bullied relentlessly. Kids beat him up, called him trailer trash, made fun of his clothes, his life, everything. When Marshall was 9, a kid named Dangelo Bailey beat him so badly that Marshall was in a coma for days. The attack left him with permanent injuries. His mother sued the school, but nothing changed. Marshall's life continued to be violent and unstable. He failed 9th grade 3 times, not because he was stupid, but because he could not focus. He was too angry, too hurt, too lost. At 17, Marshall dropped out of school. He had no diploma, no skills, no future. But Marshall had discovered rap. He loved hip-hop, the beats, the lyrics, the storytelling. Rap was poetry. It was anger turned into art. Marshall started writing rhymes constantly, in notebooks, on napkins, on scraps of paper. He wrote about his pain, his poverty, his rage. Writing became his therapy, his escape, his only hope. Marshall started calling himself Eminem, a play on his initials, and then he wanted to be a rapper, but nobody believed in him. Marshall started entering rap battles, local clubs. Rap battles were brutal. Two rappers faced off and insulted each other with rhymes. The crowd decided the winner. Marshall was good with words, but he was white. In Detroit's hip-hop scene, being white was a massive disadvantage. Audiences did not take him seriously. They assumed he was fake, a wannabe. Marshall got booed constantly. He lost battles. He got laughed at. But he kept coming back, night after night. He kept battling. He kept improving. Marshall worked dead-end jobs to survive. He washed dishes. He worked in factories. He made minimum wage. He lived with his mother in a tiny trailer. He had a daughter, Haley, with his on and off girlfriend Kim. Marshall was a teenage father with no money and no prospects. He was desperate, angry, but he refused to quit rapping. Music was his only shot at a better life. Marshall started winning rap battles. He got better and faster. His lyrics got sharper, meaner, funnier. He developed a character called Slim Shady. Slim Shady was dark, violent, disturbing, but also clever and hilarious. Slim Shady said things Eminem could not. He was Marshall's alter ego, his release. In 1997, Marshall recorded an album called the Slim Shady EP. He pressed a few copies and sold them at shows. One copy ended up in the hands of a producer. That producer gave it to Dr. Dre. Dr. Dre was a legendary rapper and producer. He had worked with NWA, Snoop Dogg, and Tupac. He was one of the most powerful people in hip-hop. When Dr. Dre heard Eminem's tape, he was shocked. This white kid could rap. Really rap. Dr. Dre called Marshall and flew him to Los Angeles. They met, they clicked. Dr. Dre signed Eminem to his label. In 1999, the Slim Shady LP was released. It exploded. The album was controversial, violent, shocking, but undeniably brilliant. Songs like My Name Is became massive hits. Eminem became famous overnight, but with fame came backlash. Terrorist groups protested his music. Politicians called him dangerous. They said his lyrics promoted violence and hatred. Eminem did not care. He kept making music. In 2000, he released the Marshall Mathers LP. It became one of the fastest-selling albums in history. Over 1.76 million copies sold in the first week. Eminem was no longer just a rapper, he was a cultural phenomenon. Then came The Eminem Show in 2002, another massive success. Then Encore in 2004. Eminem was dominating music. He won 15 Grammy Awards. He sold over 220 million albums worldwide. He became the best-selling artist of the 2000s. The Trailer Park Kid who got booed off stage became one of the biggest stars on the planet. But success came with pain. Eminem struggled with drug addiction. He was addicted to prescription pills. By 2007, he overdosed and almost died. Doctors told him his organs were failing. Eminem hit rock bottom, but Eminem fought back. He got sober. He went to rehab. He rebuilt his life. In 2009, he released Relapse. Then Recovery in 2010. Recovery became another massive hit. The single Not Afraid was an anthem about overcoming addiction. Eminem proved he was not finished. He kept releasing albums. The Marshall Mathers LP 2, Revival, Kamikaze, Music to be Murdered By, each one successful. Each one proving Eminem was still the best. Eminem also started acting. He starred in the movie 8 Mile in 2002. The film was based on his life. It showed his struggle, his rap battles, his rise. The song Lose Yourself from the movie won an Academy Award. Eminem became the first rapper to win an Oscar. The kid who dropped out of high school is now an Oscar winner. Today, Eminem is worth over $250 million. He has sold more albums than almost any artist in history. He is considered one of the greatest rappers of all time. Rolling Stone ranked him among the best artists ever. The kid people said did not belong changed hip-hop forever. He proved that talent has no color, that pain can become art, that rejection can fuel greatness. Eminem once said something powerful: "The truth is you don't know what is going to happen tomorrow. Life is a crazy ride, and nothing is guaranteed." Eminem's life was chaos, poverty, abuse, addiction. But he used all of it. He turned pain into platinum records. He turned rage into rhymes. He turned suffering into success. Eminem also said, "Everybody has goals, aspirations, or whatever. And everybody has been at a point in their life where nobody believed in them. Nobody believed in Marshall. His teachers did not. The rap crowds did not. The industry did not. But Marshall believed in himself. That was enough. Do not let people define your limits." Eminem was told he did not belong in hip-hop, that white people could not rap, that he should give up. He ignored them all. He proved them wrong. Your critics do not get to decide your future. You do. Pain is your material. Eminem's music is raw because it is real. He rapped about his mother, his poverty, his addiction, his pain. He did not hide it. He weaponized it. Your struggle is not a weakness. It is your story. It is your power. If this story inspired you, please like the video and subscribe to Story Studio 91. Share this with someone who feels like they do not belong. Share it with someone fighting addiction. Remind them that Eminem was booed off stage, told he did not belong, struggled with addiction, and almost died. But he fought back and became one of the greatest artists of all time with over 220 million albums sold. Your past does not define your future, your fight does.